Welcome to the At Leisure Podcast. We are changing things up a bit with our theme music, but this is still a show about sports, video games, movies, and just basically the things we do with our leisure time. Today, we're getting back to our bread and butter with a movie review. And our returning guest today is Gabriel, whose voice should you should sound extra crispy with the new podcast setup. So
yes, I've been extremely jealous. I told Emily this is something that I have to invest in for my personal development and growth. And now I'm actually using it in college for my speech class right now and got credit for having an immaculate voice over my videos.
Yeah. So. Do you want to tell the audience what you made on that assignment?
Let's just say I might have a biased professor, and I decided to do a controversial subject matter of which may or may not have been offensive to that person, and she gave me a 68. So... But I did send in for
it's just so funny, man, because you've got like layups and you're like, you know what, I want to be edgy. Let me really dive into this. I'm like,
so that's it just depends on how you see it. Of course, I didn't want to present it in a negative way, but the professor is African American, and I sent in a video review of I'm Not a Racist. And when I told Emily about that, she said, I've never seen that. And I showed her the music video for it. And after 10 seconds, she said, there's no way I can finish that. And she said, what is wrong with you? Why don't you just pick something easy, like an NF song? You love NF. And I was like, well, everybody in here is doing something controversial. So I wanted to do something controversial. Don't know how well it was received, but apparently not very, because I failed. So,
dude, you just what are we even talking about? All right, let's get back to the bread and butter I was talking about. Oh man, we're talking Thunderbolts today. We'll do like a little bit of a non-spoiler talk at the beginning for people who haven't watched. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched, appreciate it, but go watch it and then come back. But I guess non-spoiler before we just really get into it, I'd say I'd recommend this movie. I think it's a fun watch. I'll give you the floor if you want. Give me a pitch on why you should or shouldn't watch this movie, since I've kind of revealed my hand.
So out of our Discord friend group, it's pretty clear that there's a handful of us that have felt jaded by the Marvel Universe. I fall in that camp. Just so many different TV shows and movies that have come out that I feel have belittled everything leading up to Endgame. And that price that they were willing to pay to just eliminate the importance of it through multi-dimensions and all that stuff just irked me terribly. So the past several movies that have come out, I didn't really care or get excited for, like Brave New World. I probably will never, ever see that movie unless I'm with you guys and y'all force me to watch it, whatever. But with this one, I actually was studying for the National Registry the night before, stayed up really late, and then I realized I had a 2-hour window to go see a matinee while Emily was out of the house with her sister. So I went to go see it, and probably right in the meat of the movie, I fell asleep. And that was not the fault of the movie. However, I reviewed it as such. And then later on,
Emily you helped me set my expectations low with that first review.
Good. You're welcome. Yeah. So Emily, actually, we were celebrating our 8th anniversary, and we were trying to pick out a movie, and every single movie that was in theaters was like a thriller horror movie, which is her absolute least favorite genre. So I said, okay, if you want to go see Thunderbolts, I don't mind watching it again. And to be honest, I actually fell asleep in the middle of it. So on the rewatch, I missed like the most emotional sequences of the movie that really tied the knot at the end. And I was like, holy cow, this movie's actually pretty good. And on top of that, typically I'll just go to Gun Barrel City, which if you've never heard of is completely okay. And their movie theater is, it seats 50 people maybe. And there's no reclining
50
seats.
50 is generous.
Sound, yeah, I mean, it's
generous.
Rough.
I'd have said 25, but it's been a while since
it's rough, but it's what I have. And there's a little bit of nostalgia tied to it. So I really don't mind the theater. But the surround sound system is from like 1995. And so anyways, when Emily and I went to go see it, nice theater. Even Emily was looking around like, oh my gosh, I forgot what it's like to go to a nice theater. I was like, yeah, I know. And the sound blew me away. It made the like hard hitting moments, the one that everyone will probably talk about with this movie, with the when it looks like they're kind of saving the day and then, it falls through. Those moments hit so much harder in this theater. and I felt attached to the characters on the second go with it, which is pretty surprising because usually, even if I've seen just little pieces of a movie, I'll end up finding myself bored with it or feeling like I'm not going to be surprised by the ending. And it all tied together so well. I came out and I actually ended up giving the movie 4 out of 5 stars. So
It helps
good
when you fell
movie.
asleep the first time, so then you can't be surprised the second time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
movie a fair shake.
But I mean, I watched the ending the first time and it still didn't really blow me away. And well, of course it didn't. But
Yeah,
the
so I
second
was
time I
gonna
was
say,
like, okay, that
you
kind
can't
of
just
blew
watch
me
the
away
end
a
of a
little bit.
movie.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well,
And Emily was like, that was good. I was like, that was pretty good actually.
yeah, my pitch would be this movie doesn't reinvent the Marvel formula by any means, but it does get back to the beats and feelings that got me invested in these movies, like in the first place. Character work, actual sense of purpose in this movie versus some of the ones lately that have felt very purposeless. And kind of like you hinted at, kind of irreverent towards the characters that we've come to like. And this one it took the characters seriously. The humor is good, I think. I was laughing multiple times in this movie, and so was the audience I was with, which is always good. It feels better in a movie when everyone's laughing versus when it's just you. I think that if you liked the mid-tier Marvel movies of the first few phases, I think you're really going to like this movie. It's like Marvel saw Suicide Squad and said, like, we can do that a little more PG-13-ish, right? And then, yeah, we could do that. And they did it pretty good.
A lot more PG-13.
Well, yeah. Depends on the first Suicide Squad for DC was PG-13, and it was garbo compared to this movie.
Yeah. I'll say the humor is a lot better when you're with someone as well. Like when you're by yourself, humor is just kind of hard to laugh at when you're by yourself.
That's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah. Having Emily there and being able to look to her and see her laughing at the Red Guardian saying something, made me want to laugh.
Mm-hmm. We kind of hinted at it, but my expectations of the movie were, I heard it was better than some of the more recent Marvel projects, and it definitely met that expectation. I didn't expect the humor to land as well as it did for me, and I didn't expect to walk out excited for the new Avengers movies. And I think that this movie has kind of done that for me, and it's done it to the point where, unlike you, I think I do want to go back and watch Brave New World just for the context of it. We'll see, I guess. Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, specifically out of the movie, it's in the movie, so I guess you might be able to title it as a spoiler, but not really. Even this movie seems to just take Brave New World and go and just kind of blow it off with a joke that's kind of like a third person joke in the movie whenever, what's her name, DeFonte is like, oh yeah, the last guy, he turned red, and yeah, you know how that went. And it just kind of seems like she's blowing off that movie. And it's like, that movie just happened and you're already kind of talking crap about it outside the third wall or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how I took it anyways.
I guess that's fair. Any other non-spoiler talk before we jump into spoilers?
I would agree with you. The humor, it didn't just hit well, but it also felt somewhat original. And I think that's kind of what you're saying with less quippy. And like when we watched Thor Love and Thunder, it really felt like an obvious copycat of the humor of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it didn't really work well because the things that are at stake for Thor as a god versus what's at stake for the Guardians of the Galaxy are completely different. Mm-hmm. So when you take that level of stupidity and put it into something that's supposed to be more serious, it doesn't hit. But this comedy in this movie didn't feel like a copycat that I could think of from another Marvel movie. It felt a little more dark and less about, like you said, quips and more about delivery, especially with Red Guardian. So the humor is good. If it's solid, it doesn't rob scenes of seriousness as much as previous Marvel movies have done.
Right. Something big will happen and then they'll end it with like a, whoa, that was crazy. Or, like, oh, you're, some stupid line that you're like, okay, we didn't really need that. Didn't do that in this movie as much. I won't say that it doesn't happen, but I never took me out like it does sometimes. The music was good. Marvel movies, I don't really focus on the music that much other than like the iconic theme. I think the Marvel movies have never had like great scores, but this one was pretty good. It wasn't like super memorable, but I definitely, a few times I was like, oh, I'm feeling the music. I like this. So that's something.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't remember the music at all.
Yeah, that's how I feel with most Marvel movies. Maybe it was just because I have kids now, and anytime I go to the theaters, I'm just like soaking it all in. Like, yes, give me the experience.
That's a good point. I never think about Marvel scores very much, but
Yeah, they're not.
The only one that really hits to me is Iron Man's.
Yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's cheating because they're just using popular songs. So
Yeah, but
I
they
just
do
mean
it
like,
really well.
yeah, they do it good, but it's not really a score. It's more like a mixtape.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't think of anything else I want to talk about before we jump into spoiler talk. What about you?
No, let's get after it.
All right, warning, we're just going into spoilers. So let's just start with like character standouts. What were some of the things that you really liked about the characters in this movie, or certain characters that really stood out?
Characters that I loved. I expected to like Red Guardian, so he didn't really surprise me as a standout, but he delivered really well for what he's
Mhm.
supposed to be and for the comedy that he brings to the movie. He was definitely the character that whenever he delivered a line in a specific way, I wanted to look at Emily so that I could see her reaction. And most of the time, always, it was exactly what I thought it would be. She thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
So Yelena, I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's hard to say. Her name's hard to say. She's
Yelena, I
Russian.
think.
So
Yeah.
Yelena. She surprised me. I'm actually not the biggest Florence Pugh fan, nor did I really care about the Black Widow movie. Again, I think that's Marvel's fault more than anybody else's with such a late delivery on it. But
Mm-hmm.
whenever her storyline ended and it turned into Yelena taking over kind of that legacy of her sister, I was like, dude, who cares? But in this movie, I actually thought she stepped up really well. And then the heavy draw on emotional connection that they do with the thoughts of loneliness, depression, and hating your past sins makes her so much more likable going forward. So if I had to pick out one standout character, it's pretty boring to pick the main character, but she hit pretty hard in this movie.
Hey, I think that's fair. I'm with you. She always just felt like brand continuation. You know, it was like, hey, we lost our Black Widow. We need a new one. Here she is.
Yeah,
And this
and
one,
I like her. I like her more than
yeah,
the
me
Black
too.
Widow.
Now I do. Before I
Yeah,
was like, she's trying too hard. In Hawkeye, she was trying to be too funny. I was like, I really haven't found you funny. I'm kind of with you. Florence Pugh, I know is good, but I haven't seen a lot of the movies that people always reference of how good she is. So, but she was good here for sure. And it was a really weird spin with her dynamic with Bob when he comes
yeah.
in. It's like they play really well off each other. Bob was really good. He was going to be one of my standouts of like, man, he really meshed well with the cast from the very beginning. And like his void form is just, it's a really striking image. It's freaky and visually just very cool. So both his good guy and bad guy persona, was really enjoying when he was on the screen.
Yeah. I actually liked his character design behind. So I'm not familiar with who he is in the comics. So is his name in the comics Sentry or is it the Golden Guardian?
I think it's just Sentry. I think it's Sentry, and he is the duality there of like anytime you need Sentry, Void's also going to come out. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of how they handicap him as not being just OP.
Yeah.
Because he
I
is.
kind of liked how his Sentry like costume design I thought was sick. And
Yeah.
I know the idea that they're playing off of is they want him to look like a perfect hero. And
Uh-huh.
so he's got the golden hair and the bright colors and everything. And it's funny just because I actually think it's one of the best costume designs I've seen in Marvel. And it's a kind of like they're using it as a play of, oh, he's supposed to look perfect, but we know he isn't. And he looks perfect. I'm like, dude, he
Yeah.
looks
He looks
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
And then his void is even more awesome.
Yeah.
And I was like, golly, this dude actually has like horror elements to him with how dark he is. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I thought his opening into the movie with kind of like his dumb moments, I thought it was a little overplayed, just kind of
Well,
with his face and the things he said.
yeah. Yeah, I guess it didn't bother me as much. I thought it worked because he was just talking about like, hey, I was a meth addict. I don't know how I got here. I was ready to die and now I'm here and I'm like, what's going on? Kind of thing. But I guess going back to that scene, even another standout for me was John Walker, or AKA US Agent. I know it's interesting for you because I don't think you've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but
Yeah, no,
he
I
was
haven't.
he was one of the more compelling characters in that movie. And in some ways, I thought they did him dirty because it's like they frame it as he kills a terrorist in public, and it's very brutal. And I think it's implied that he cuts the guy's head off with the Captain America's shield, and everyone is just like, you can't be Captain America after that. Like, it's so evil. I'm like, Captain America kills people all the time, dude. He's just like, he knocks terrorists left and right. And so it was really a weird framing of that. But also, like, he was kind of like a tool bag in that show, and it's a continuation of that here, but you get more character depth for him, and he's like, he's a tool, he's acting like a tool, and when he is a tool, he's playing it for jokes, but it's kind of like making sense because it's like, yeah, these guys are not good people that he's around, so he kind of fits in there, but he also is thinking like, I think at the beginning of that scene, he's like, I'm like Captain America, like he thinks of himself on that level. He's like, they wouldn't just throw me away, but he really is on their level of like, yeah, we'll just throw him away because he's not Captain America. And so it is interesting to see his arc a little bit in the show. And I also thought he was funny being like a tool.
Yeah, I think I liked him in almost everything he said. There's one random curse he threw out that I thought was ridiculous, but yeah. But other than that, the dialogue overall from the characters, especially between their interactions, was probably A tier, like as far as how well they did. The one specific joke that I thought was stupid was whenever he says, I feel like there's this void inside, this darkness. What do I do with it? And she said, you just shove it way down. Shove it way, way down. I was like, I have heard that joke probably 100 times in movies. And still, the whole, that when I was not in Gun Barrel, because there's no one that goes there, but when I was in the AMC theater or Cinemark theater, like, everyone was laughing. I was like, why are we still laughing? I've heard this joke so many times. It's so regurgitated.
Maybe they haven't.
Oh my gosh, they have to.
It's delivery too, man. Florence Pugh was delivering that good enough that it made people laugh, even though they've heard the joke.
Yeah, maybe so. I had heard it. Before she said the word, just shove it down, I was like,
I knew it was coming.
I know exactly what she's about to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not a joke I laughed at either.
Emily laughed at it too. So.
It didn't bother me.
It just bothered me just because it's like...
It fits the theme of the movie. So, it's a very heavy-handed.
Yeah, I get it. It just bothered me. I don't know. It just wasn't original. I like original writing. I like it when I'm surprised by a joke and I just felt like I saw it coming. Anyways, that's a nitpick.
Yeah. Before we leave characters, I also want to touch back on Red Guardian because I think I love David Harbour as an actor. Anything he's in, I really like the way he's got good dad energy. And like he was hilarious in this movie. His limousine scene was cracking me up. But he's also like the heart of the movie. Anytime there was an emotional scene with him, I was like really feeling it. His scene with Elena under the bridge when, they're both talking about how lonely they were and how they never contacted each other. And like, you feel it like, he's like, I thought you didn't want, to contact me. And I thought I was being a good dad by just leaving you alone. And I see that I'm wrong and I'm here now. And it was just really a really good scene.
Yeah. So the first time I saw the movie, that's the scene I woke up to. And I was like, what's all this emotion about? And then the second time I watched it, I was like trying to, not let the wetness fall from my eye. I was like, oh my gosh, that actually hit pretty hard. That was good.
Yeah, it is good. So he wasn't just humor. He was a good character. I liked him.
So what would you say is his best part in that movie?
I would definitely say Under the Bridge because it was surprisingly impactful. And then the limousine scene where he's like hyping him up, like, come on, guys, like, we're a team now. Like, let's be a team. Yelena, you found a team. I can tell you're happy. Like, let's do it. And talking about her soccer team. I love how they did the Thunderbolts, like, was because of her soccer team that he was like, that's the last time I've seen you happy. Let's be the Thunderbolts again. And then him like explaining it to her teammates in the back is just funny to me. It's really good.
Yeah, the arguing over if it was from the dry cleaners or the repair shop or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
that whole thing had me laughing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll ask you the same thing. Did you have any other favorite scenes?
I actually loved the intro to the movie with Yelena, just like how casual. It's like, here I go again. I'm about to skydive off this, tower and walk over here and choke
Batman
this guy
style.
out. Yeah, put a bullet in this dude's head, and it's just Tuesday. As the gray man would say. But
it almost feels like a commentary on Marvel right now too, of like, ho hum, we're just doing the same thing again and again.
Yes, yeah. I loved the intro, and then I loved the most standout scene of the whole movie is whenever it looks like they finally did something good and they're getting some cheers and the Red Guardian's standing in front of that girl. It's like, it's okay, we're gonna keep you safe, and just boom, and the whole theater just shook my chest. I was like, oh my gosh, that hit so much better this time. But and even in the first time I was like, it's good, but so the first time I watched the movie, I was like, okay, yeah, that's a crazy scene, but I know that the person's fine because this is
Uh-huh.
Marvel. And I
Yeah.
watched these other people disintegrate, and then they came back and they're just in high school again, but they're not the upperclassmen anymore. That
Yeah.
was basically the biggest problem with it. But the second time I watched it, I was like, you know what? It's actually pretty legit, because sometimes the bad guy's goal isn't to just eliminate people. And really, his form of victory, the voids, is honestly worse than most, like, just death, according to like a Marvel universe, of course, because he's basically taking people and then sending them into their own personal hell, and they're just stuck there
Yeah.
until they're
Have
fight
you
their
seen
way
all
out of
the
the darkness.
Have you seen all the jokes of Spider-Man just in his room, and all of a sudden he's just like he gets zapped into the void, and it's just him watching Uncle Ben die and his and Aunt May die, and it's just like him just stuck in all these terrible situations out of nowhere. I'm like, yeah, that's
No, I
how it
haven't
was for
seen that, but
everybody.
yeah, that I mean, that is pretty. I mean, I thought about that. Like, I think I'd rather just die than be sent to a
Yeah.
box that has all of my least favorite memories ever and just
Mhm.
reliving it constant. That was really good. Whenever Florence Pugh finds him in his room, and she's like, "Oh, it's quiet in here," and then like you hear the abuse going on, and then you hear him as a young boy trying to step up, and then the mom doubling down on it and be like, "You're making it worse by trying to be better."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Dude, that really would jack up a kid."
Yeah.
And
And
so,
it hits hard too because like that is a real situation that people live through, and it's just
yes,
like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, "Man, yeah, that hit pretty hard." I thought that was really cool. Like I said in my
Cool.
review, I was kind of well, it's cool just
Yeah, yeah. It's real.
how they executed on, yeah, presenting that scenario without a rated R version or anything like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I wish that we had spent more time with that level of darkness and understanding his void and why his void is that dark, because yes, we got what, 45 seconds of his parents arguing, but then next we got the meth chicken. And it's like, okay. Like, I'm trying to understand the gravity of this dude's darkness and why he's taking over New York right now.
Right.
And you throw in a meth chicken, Marvel style, and
Mhm.
then it's just an operation room. And so we got really just 2 minutes of understanding why this void has such depth to it. And it's like you
Mhm.
could have really spent another
I
five,
so
ten
agree with that.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely darkening this dude to the point that you're like, man,
I
if I
get
was Bob,
it.
I'd rather be dead.
Right. I
Yeah.
get it why he's the void. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
then
you
and
get
it's
it a
this. It's
little
like,
bit.
if
It's a
this is
good
he's the void,
start.
anybody could be the void. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
want it to feel that way. I want it to be like, this guy has to be the void because he has gone through it. So
I get why they didn't do that though, because it was real enough for me that I was like, okay, I'm just going to in my mind extrapolate that out for his life.
yeah.
And so I get it because it's like the darker you get there, the worse it's just almost like beating up on it.
Yeah, but
And
you don't have
I
to
get
stick
what you're saying
there.
though.
What they could have done is, because obviously one of the main themes of the movie was dealing with loneliness.
Mhm.
So they could have done, loneliness and rejection from his parents. And then it could have showed him like in his college years being rejected by friends, and then maybe a little bit
Yeah,
later
yeah.
being rejected by a love interest, and then him like falling into this last, like, okay, well, if nobody accepts me for who I am, well, then I'll go and get this antidote that changes all of my wrongs and turns
Mhm.
me into who people want me to be.
Or maybe
And if
even
they had
show
done that
why he
better,
was addicted to meth after that, of like why he did the
yeah,
drugs
yeah.
and then like where it left him. Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
So, anyways, if they had done that, this really would have been top tier, because it would have made the villain just totally feel so relatable and so good. And then for him to turn, to be a part of the new Avengers, Like it could have made you really, really root for this guy. But now it's more of like he's just an interesting piece because, well, he
He's a
could have
double-edged
superpowers, but
sword.
then he'd have to face the exactly.
Mhm.
So I wish they had played into it more to where I'm rooting for him to be the Sentry instead of just like, okay, well, he's just this method.
He'll be able to turn it back anytime now. It almost feels like, of like, hey, he's conquered that void once, he could do it again later. Versus like, man, this guy's got some deep stuff going on. Like he beat it once, but I don't know if he could do it again, kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. But that's a nitpick in a way. I mean, it's a way to make the movie better, but not saying like the movie's too much worse because of that, I think.
No, it's not. I just think that you're not going to top Thanos, but you had the character design and door open to really compete with like a top
some of the better
villain
Marvel villains
in Marvel, specifically, in Marvel. And instead, it fell a little short to where it's like he's another villain. Even though he looks
he's
awesome.
Kind of a hero now.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Any other favorite scenes? Anything that comes to your mind? I've got a few. Just talking about Sentry, I loved the scene where they were all throwing everything they had at him, and he was just shrugging it off and like just flick them aside like they were ants. I thought that was pretty. It was cool to see all of the new Avengers quotes go after him with like their punching and kicking that they do.
Yeah, it's interesting because most of that crew is really just not what you're used to with Marvel because they're just normal people. But
I mean, John Walker has a super serum. Phantom has.
So does Red Guardian.
Yeah, and Red Guardian has it, and Phantom has the quantum realm issue where she can phase through things. So they're not specifically just normal people. I mean, Yelena is a normal assassin, and
I guess they just feel more normal.
Well, again, they just punch and kick. I mean, they don't have any like. They're not a god. They're not a genius.
There's no lightning. Yeah. I liked Yelena's little cubicle of problems. I thought that the bringing the kid out and then having her shot dead right there was pretty
pretty dark. Yeah.
I feel like in a real life, they probably would have had her shoot the other girl, but they probably don't want to show kid-on-kid violence in Marvel, so I totally get that.
I mean, to kill the kid in the first place is actually pretty. Like that was maybe one of the more surprising parts of the movie to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, they did kill her because when they, like you said, when they shadowed the little girl, I was like, oh, she's fine. But that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I like the whipping scene too with the handgun and the ammunition. Yeah, I'd say those are my favorite parts. Intro, watching Sentry turn into the void.
I will say one of my favorite ones was Bucky's arrival on the motorcycle to capture the group. I thought that was a ton of fun. It felt like a little bit like Mad Max. I don't know if you've seen Mad Max, but it kind of had like on the motorcycle, and it was just kind of like didn't feel like a typical Marvel action scene to me. It felt different.
Mad Max is terrible.
Okay, well, aside from that, I like some of the action of Mad Max, and this felt a little bit like that. And I just think they really know how to use Winter Soldier now. I think he's got some of the best action in his movies. And I know you got a thing against him, but I also think he's just effortlessly cool in these movies.
I don't have a thing against Bucky.
I think he's effortlessly cool. When he arrived, I'm like, that was sick. And he looks like he's like the veteran. Like he's done this before. He kind of felt like, all right, here we go again. I know how this all works. And they kind of needed that as a group when everyone else was new.
This needs to be clarified. I do not have a problem with the Winter Soldier.
You got a problem with it.
No, I don't.
Dude,
I have a problem with Captain America. Captain America is words that I cannot say. He is to choose. Oh my goodness. I don't want to go too far into it, but what an absolute traitor. Anyways. With Bucky, I like Bucky, and you're right, he is cool. I don't really think he's like an awesome superhero or anything, but the metal arm is cool. The entrance is cool. He's got the drip. He's got the swag. I get it, but he's definitely not a highlight of this movie to me.
I liked his entrance, and I liked parts of what he was like when he was in it. I liked it, but I agree, he's not the highlight. He's not a standout. He wasn't one of the ones that I picked, but I loved that scene with him.
I really think they could have what they did with Yelena in this movie and like making her the like main emotional connection to Bob. They could have just as easily done that with him because of his past and everything that he
They
went through.
they would be retreading ground though. Like you haven't
Would
seen
they?
the yeah. You should watch Falcon and Winter Soldier if you want that because it dives into his psyche a lot more than that. And I think the character work for Winter Soldier and John Walker in the Falcon and Winter Soldier is great. I think they did Falcon real dirty because that was his chance to like turn into a hero, and he still feels like a sidekick even after watching.
Dude, I cannot stand the Falcon. That's why I don't watch that.
But
show.
I liked him. I liked him in his other roles. But when he became the main
He
character, they
looks
still
stupid.
played him as a sidekick.
He just looks so
he looks a little
dumb.
goofy.
I
He
can't.
looks a little goofy.
I can't. Those red goggles he wears. I'm like, dude, you look like an aardvark, man. I cannot watch this.
Okay, well,
if it weren't for him,
don't
I
watch
could
that,
watch
but-
Bucky.
Well, I was gonna say, watch the show. I think you'd still like it. I mean, he's not in his costume that much in the show, and when he is, you can just fast forward it. You don't really need it. So give it
is
a
the
watch.
Falcon? Is he done? Is he done?
No, dude, he's not done. You've seen this movie. At the end, they talk about how he's suing them for the Avengers rights, and he has every right to hate this group because they were assigned as the new Avengers by a supervillain, basically, and she bought the Avengers Tower out from under him, and so he's just like, "Hey, I'm gathering a team of Avengers." And
Okay, I didn't realize that was him.
yeah, Sam Wilson.
So who is his team of Avengers?
Well, it's still to be determined. That's why I'm excited that's part of why I'm excited because I mean, they still have I don't know who they're going to choose, but they still have Doctor Strange, they've got Spider-Man, they've got Shang-Chi, they've still got Captain Marvel, who else?
Okay.
There's
that team would absolutely
destroy this team. Yeah.
The Thunderbolts.
Yes, it would. Yeah. And Sam Wilson Falcon would be the worst one on the team by far. But he'll be like the leader
could just
guy.
go ahead and,
just let them do the thing. Yeah.
He could be dead.
No, I still hope they redeem him. I don't know. I need to watch Brave New World, but it didn't get the good reviews.
Uniform and a new jawline, then I don't know, maybe.
All right. Oh man, is there anything else that you liked about this movie, or anything that drug it down for you that you haven't already talked about?
No.
I would say a few things. I think this movie couldn't have been a great movie because it really wasn't doing anything new. They just executed stuff really well. Another thing I would say that drug it down, the movie felt too short for me. People love to hate on long run times, but if I'm enjoying a movie, I kind of want it to be long. And I could have used more time with Bob, like you said.
Yeah, that's the only way it could have been longer. If they had extended any other part of the movie, I think I would have been annoyed.
I think it would have been fun to see them interact more as a team. And I think one part of the movie that I was struggling with was Ghost has some of the coolest powers. And I felt like she really didn't have any time to shine. You don't come away from this movie really thinking about her much at all.
I don't actually think she's that cool.
I think her powers are cool.
I'm okay with not seeing her. I mean, her powers are so limited. It's 1 minute. You have to see where you're going. You have to know the route. You can't. I mean, it's not like she's, Danny Phantom out here. So it's. If Danny Phantom is cooler than you, that's a problem.
I think Danny Phantom had cool powers. Maybe that's my problem.
Well, yeah, Danny Phantom was awesome.
Things I liked. I said that there wasn't any new ground, but I'm a sucker for the found family arc. If you do it well, all these characters are like so emotional, flawed, insecure, and kind of a bunch of liars, but you still kind of find a way to like them throughout the movie, which I think is a testament to the interactions that they have.
Yeah. The whole ragtag team of misfits always hits. Well, it should
if they do it good. If they do it good, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it should hit, yeah.
I appreciated that even though New York, you just got to get the heck out of New York. If you're living in New York now, you've got a death wish in the MCU.
I thought about that too.
I don't understand it.
That place should be vacant.
Yeah, nobody should live there. The rent must be dirt cheap by now. Like, hey, just come live here. You'll have to dodge some aliens, but you'll have a good time.
Yeah. They need to send some footage down in the Marvel universe out to Texas because I know it's got to be flooded with California people and people from New York.
Just trying to get the
There are probably no houses left out in this place.
But I appreciate what I was going to get at is I appreciate the small scale conflict. There were stakes, but no, like I said, no giant beam in the sky and fighting a bunch of minions.
Yeah, I do too. And that's kind of what I was saying with with it not being like a end all be all with him sending them into the void. The second go round, I actually appreciated that because it's hard to come up with ways and be creative to save the world without saving the world from death. So I actually ended up liking that a lot, that the stakes were not necessarily the last straw
world
or
ending.
anything.
I was surprised they killed Taskmaster off. They shot her in the head, point blank. I was like, whoa. Apparently that was revealed in the marketing, but I didn't watch any of the marketing. So that was a fresh surprise for me. I liked it.
I don't have any social media right now, so everything I saw, I went in blind. But I think that's a cool move because, the original showing of Taskmaster, no one liked her, I remember.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was like they messed it up. They botched it.
They're like, this is not the character that we know. This is a brand new character that you just named Taskmaster.
So for her to come in and then put a bullet in her head, it's like, one, acknowledging the fact that they botched the character, but two, showing that high stakes people can die in this film starting now. And that's pretty cool.
Even though I won't say that I ever thought that any of these other characters were going to bite it. But when it happened, I didn't think Taskmaster was going to bite it either. So it was just like, oh, you did the thing where you took one away. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I mean, I could have imagined John Walker, dying off to kind of like a redemption
Redeem
arc
himself.
like
being kind of a tool.
So I could have bit for that, and I feel like it will be a bite for Bucky in the future. But
I don't know, man. They're starting to. Bucky is almost like the veteran now. He's been through so many movies.
Well, that's why he'll die eventually.
Maybe. I think the idea of the two competing Avengers teams is going to be fun. We kind of hit on it a little bit. It makes me more interested in the new movies, which is also what I was hinting at. I'll find myself rooting for these bozos over all the other new Avengers, to be honest with you.
Well, you say that now, but you gotta see the other Avengers.
I guess that's true. That's the problem, I guess, is I haven't liked the new movies. So a lot of the new characters have just not landed with me very well.
But you liked Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
You liked Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I don't know if Spider-Man's coming back because of the whole Sony thing. I was just
Is that still a problem? It's 2025. Why is that a problem?
Yeah, because Sony makes a lot of money off Spider-Man.
I thought they sold those rights away like 5 years ago.
You saw the last movie. They wiped it clean. Nobody remembers him. They don't know Peter Parker, so they're giving him like a fresh slate.
That's in the movie. I thought that in real life that Sony finally handed the reins off.
Sony gave him the approval for all the movies that he was in, and now they have to get a new deal set up if they want him in more Avengers movies.
Okay, that's ridiculous, but I'm also okay with it.
It is ridiculous.
I was looking at the rankings and the list of all the Marvel movies, and when I said that some of the movies are forgettable, Spider-Man falls in there.
Not even a little bit. You're definitely wrong there, but that's okay. I mean, that's okay.
No Way Home is a joke. It's just all fan bait.
No, dude, it's fantastic. Bait. It's great.
It's okay. It's probably like a 6.7 or something like that.
Yeah, you're in the minority there, but that's okay. Anything? I guess we can jump into that too, because I think I've gotten anything else you want to say on the movie before we instead of giving it a number rating, we can just say where it sits in our Marvel movie rankings.
Okay.
You want me to go first so you can think about it?
Go first because I don't have a specific number for it, but I will say,
okay,
I'll just go ahead and say I probably have it in my top 12 Marvel movies.
Okay. Actually, we are very similar. I'm shocked that you have it at 12. So I have it at 13.
Okay.
I think that this does Guardians of the Galaxy maybe even a little better than Guardians of the Galaxy for me. The Guardians of the Galaxy humor never landed as much for me as it does for a lot of people.
Oh,
so I have this between Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy at 13.
Oh my gosh. I have Guardians of the Galaxy at number 3.
Yeah, it's not that good, but a lot of people agree with you there. So that's my bad take, like your bad Spider-Man take.
Yeah. So I have Infinity War as my number 1, Iron Man, then Guardians of the Galaxy, then Endgame, then Avengers. And man, Avengers is so special because I don't think that when you look at the scope of everything that they end up going through with Ultron and Thanos and some of the major villains, I don't feel like it's actually that great, but I will never ever forget the movie experience of going to see Avengers in real life
Same.
and how excited that the energy of
We all were
whatever
so
theater you're
excited,
in.
dude. We saw
I
it together,
remember.
right? It was our friend group, and you bought
Are
like a
you
little
serious?
Wolverine. Yeah, we went together, and you bought a little Wolverine, little circle guy. I remember out of the slot machines slot machines, whatever those are called,
That's
like a
so
toy.
funny because I don't remember seeing you, but I remember driving like an hour and a half to this.
Glad we had such memorable
I remember
experiences
driving
together.
far to see this movie,
Yeah.
and then I remember seeing my foreign exchange roommate from DBU just happened to be at the same movie theater, going to see the same movie at the same time. And I was like, Edward, no way! And it's just kind of like brought it full circle for me. That what? Oh, you don't remember that?
I'm your roommate, your DBU foreign exchange. How old were you? This was in high school, bro.
What?
Yeah. Avengers came out in 2012.
Well, which one came out in 2014
I
or
mean,
2015?
Civil War, maybe?
Well, then maybe I did see it with you.
You did. We saw it in Athens.
We saw it in Athens, Texas.
Yeah, we did, bro. We saw
Dang,
it
dude, we did ourselves dirty.
behind that McDonald's. Hey, that theater was great. You have the gun barrel experiences. I think that
Oh
Athens
man,
theater was way better than the gun barrel theater.
you think that?
Yeah,
No,
it's
at
been a
least not
while.
now.
Did they revamp the gun barrel theater? Because I remember going there and being like, "This is just a projector in a room. This is not a theater." So
No. You know what? I think you're thinking about a different theater. I think that
I
you're
don't
thinking
think so,
about
man. I don't think
Terrell.
so.
Are you talking about the movie that we saw Prometheus in?
No, not Terrell. I'm talking about Athens.
No, I
We
know.
saw
I'm
it in
talking about
Athens.
Gun Barrel. I'm talking about Gun Barrel's
I know.
movie theater.
I've not been there in a while, but I think I've gone once, and I
So
didn't
the
was not
Athens
impressed.
one was renovated.
Okay, good.
It got worse.
It got worse.
I don't know how it got worse, but when I go in there, I leave, and it just feels like I sat in a wet diaper the whole time. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like I come out of there, and my skin's moist. I feel like I need some face wipes for the oil. Like it's weird because it's just
This is good
dank up in that
podcasting for
place.
my Oklahoma friends.
Well, yeah.
Naming
Tell
these
them
small town movie theaters. Why does Canton not have one, man? I don't understand it. Why does Gun Barrel get a movie theater and Canton doesn't have one?
So the reason why, so I work with the guy at the fire station that he does a lot with like city council and everything. The reason why Canton doesn't have a movie theater is because someone came forward with the idea to create a movie theater in Canton, and city council rejected them because they were going to show rated R movies in their theater. And so Canton was like, no,
Wow.
that's not happening.
Wow.
And
How
so,
long ago was
you
this?
know,
Like 1960s?
no. This was like, I want to say this was like in the 2010s. And
Bull crap.
no, I'm serious. It was like towards
Bull
like,
crap. He's
I
pulling your
can't remember
leg.
when Canton. No. This is serious.
No,
I've heard this on multiple
I don't believe your
accounts.
friend. That's crazy. That's insane.
This is an older gentleman, but but I've heard that from multiple people. So I heard that from this guy at Station 12, and then I went to another guy at Station 7 who's also from Canton.
Article. I need a in the newspaper.
There's
Movie
no way
theater
there's an article
denied
about that.
due to R rating showings.
I'm telling you, this is a town that was dry all the way up to like 2016.
Really?
Which doesn't even exist anymore.
That's crazy.
I mean, I'm sure it exists somewhere. Yeah, dude, Canton was. You don't remember
our high school did not. Our high school friends did not. They did not listen to the dry county sentiment there. I mean, that's crazy. I had no idea. Honestly, no idea. But
how did you not know that? There wasn't a single restaurant in Canton that served alcohol.
How many times I'm never looking for alcohol? So, it's like, if it's there, if it's not there, I'm never going to notice.
Oh, okay. Nice cover up on the podcast, Brett.
Cover up? Oh, yeah. I'll be honest with you. Most of the people listening to this know me, so they know how crunk I get. Is that a real? Do people say
I'm
that?
so confused on where I saw Edward. Anyways, I don't want to get caught up on this guy, but where were we?
You were misremembering our good time watching the Avengers together. So
Yeah, I don't
you might as well
remember
just keep.
who all did we see it with.
It's you, me, Stuart, and then our girlfriends at the time.
Man, I don't remember that, but that's fine. I believe you.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, keep going with your rankings though. You said you'd have it at 12.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing it at 12. Okay, I just looked it up. It was 2015, Age of Ultron, and he wasn't my roommate anymore. And so when I saw him, I was like,
This is
"No
important.
way! I can't believe that we're both here to see this movie." Um, okay,
I got Age
so
of Ultron at 19, if you're wondering.
yeah, I mean it's not that high for me either, and I don't have my list all the way fleshed out. But I do have Infinity War, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Endgame, The Avengers. Other movies that I know off the top of my head that would also go above this one would be Thor Ragnarok, Deadpool and Wolverine, if it counts. I don't know if it counts or not really. Captain America, The Winter Soldier,
I don't like Deadpool
Doctor
either.
Strange, Guardians 2, I would still keep above this movie. The original Black Panther, even though I think that it's highly overrated.
I've got that at 8. I love that movie.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? I had it at 9 or 10 there. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I liked a lot.
I've got that at 16.
And I don't know, I would have to rewatch the Spider-Man movies to really know if they would fall in line right here or not. But yeah, I would say that this movie falls in right at this point.
I don't think I have a Spider-Man movie underneath Thunderbolts. They're all in front of it. I really like Spider-Man though. Spider-Man's a good character. Iconic.
I'll tell you what, Spider-Man's growing on me for nothing more than the fact that Levi has slowly started
he's
becoming
iconic,
obsessed with
man.
him.
He's so good. He's very relatable to kids.
It's because he
All
is a
right.
kid.
Yeah. Well, he is. For too much of the movies, I think they should let him grow up a little bit. Spider-Verse, having the older Spider-Mans was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds like we're both pretty high on the movie. Are you excited for any movies on the horizon? I think there's one that you kind of hinted at to me earlier that I'm excited to hear your thoughts on.
Well, sticking with Marvel, I am excited for the Fantastic Four movie coming out. Although I will say I have never cared for the Silver Surfer. I've always thought the Silver Surfer stupid.
Dude, I just don't care for the Fantastic Four. So I don't share the excitement for these movies that you do, and I'm just hoping that they're great.
Well, I don't like Fantastic Four either, but the cast that they have is fantastic. They have an amazing cast. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby.
You're not a little tired of seeing Pedro everywhere?
I'm not.
He's good.
I love seeing him.
Yeah.
Dude, he performs like he's not someone like Tom. Every time I see Tom Cruise, I'm tired of seeing Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise in whatever movie he's playing. And I just want to punch him square in the face.
I'm getting that way with Pedro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I still like him in his movies, but he's still, every time I see him, I'm like, that's Pedro Pascal. You know, he's just in everything.
But he plays his different characters so well. Like the
unbearable weight of massive talent, I think, is the only one where he's not like a stoic, hardcore dude. Yeah, think about that for a little bit. He's playing the same character in all of his movies.
Sure, he might be stoic, but he does it so good.
He does. He's good. He's good. I'm just saying, he's typecast Pedro Pascal playing Pedro Pascal characters, and it's good. I like him.
I haven't seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I really want to. It's not just Pedro. You got the dude from The Bear. I can't ever remember his name. And then you have the dude that's just in the new Gladiator and who's in Stranger Things. And he's on the up and coming for real. He was in that movie Warzone that just came out that I still want to go see, that Spencer went and saw. He said he loved it. So anyways, I have faith because of the cast, not because it is Fantastic Four.
The Thing was really good in Andor, so I'm excited about him too. He's this actor.
Oh, he's in Andor?
Mm-hmm. One day you're going to watch it. Everyone listening to this, stop what you're doing and go watch Andor, both seasons. Andor 2 review is coming soon with Spencer, so be ready for that also.
All right, for anybody listening, just go ahead and ignore the last 30 seconds because Star Wars has failed harder than Marvel has.
It's a good thing I can edit this podcast. So.
Yeah, okay. Now the superhero movie that I'm most excited for is Superman. I think it is going to be amazing. And again, not so
There's
much because of the character, but the director, I believe in James Gunn.
you already heard my take of like I'm a Guardians of the Galaxy hater, and I see the Superman commercials, and I'm just like, there is so much going on. They're already introducing the super dog,
Yeah, Crypto.
and like what is it, the Justice League? They've got like a lot of Justice League characters in there, and Superman is so hard to get right. I think Zack Snyder did him good in his first movie, and then after that, it was just kind of downhill. Like they just don't know what to do with him, and
Yeah,
so
Man of Steel was really good.
yeah,
But I think that the universe, the way that it looks in the trailer, is that he's creating, because DCU has been known as being like this gravelly,
way
harsh,
too dark.
dark, realistic tone. And it really seems like he's flipping the script and saying, we're going all the way comic with it. And it's going to be this universe that we live in through these films that's going to be very super. And I think because of that, we're going to be able to see weaknesses in Superman that we haven't seen before. Because whenever we watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's like, okay, everything is doomed, but Superman. And I feel like in this universe, it's going to be a more well-balanced superhero population that allows Superman to have weaknesses in a way that he hasn't before.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I just think James Gunn's really good at hitting emotional connection with audiences. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to do a really good job of building a storyline behind Superman that actually causes us to like him instead of just hate him for being too great of a hero. So,
well, I was never there, but I did always feel like they just don't know what to do with him. So, I don't quite share the excitement, but I do hope it's good. I want to get back on this podcast and be like, that Superman movie, one of the best superhero movies ever. Because Superman is like a iconic superhero that I feel like I've never seen a good movie for other than Man of Steel. And I was like, oh, here we go. And then it never came back around, really. So,
yeah, Man of Steel was shockingly good for Zack Snyder. But yeah, I say those two. That's about it. That's the only thing I think of. I don't even know the other Marvel movies that are going to be coming out because they've lost my interest for the most part. But,
yeah. I mean, I want the Avengers aren't coming out for a while, but this movie made me excited for that a little bit more than I was. And I was just looking at a list of movies today, and I'm just like, man, I just don't get to go to see movies very much, and not a lot of them are interesting me anymore. Maybe I'm just getting old.
Getting old.
The new Predator movie, I think, is the one that I am the most excited for. I think it's like Predator Badlands.
I haven't even seen a trailer for that yet.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's pretty cool looking. And I just, after watching Prey, I was like, man, this is my favorite Predator movie, and the same guy's doing this movie, so I'll watch. I'll watch it.
I told Emily to get ready for a lot of matinee movies now that her mother is retired. We can drop them kids off during nap time. Go get us 2 hours of a movie. Yeah. I take Levi to basically every PG movie that comes out after I double check it on IMDb for the.
And he sits still for him, huh?
Oh, he loves it. Yeah. He loves it because I hype it up. Like, dude, we're going to the movies, bro. We're getting candy. We're getting popcorn. You can get whatever drink you want. And it just turns into like an event for him. Yeah. But again, like, I'll never forget the first time he sat in a movie theater, and the Gun Barrel movie theater of all places where the surround sound system is old as all get out. But there's,
I can't tell if you like the theater or don't.
I love it for nostalgia.
Up and down.
And I love it because it's there, and it needs to be there. The surround sound system, it goes, oh, you, and it like goes from your right ear to the back of your head to the left. And I remember Levi heard it, and he just looks around. He goes, "Who said that?" and then like the movie kicked on, and it started with the big hum, like, and he was just like, "Whoa!" He literally said, "Wow!" And so. He likes it. I don't know why. Everyone says the same thing. I can't believe he's 3 and he sits through a movie, because he doesn't do it at home. It's not like he just watches screens all day. But I think it's because I've hyped it up so much that when he gets to the theater, every single time I stop him right in front of the door and I tell him, other people are here, we're in public, and these people paid to be here. We have to be quiet for other people. And he does. So
that's awesome. I'm scared to do that with Ezra because he does not sit still.
Do it.
He doesn't sit still. Well, we can wrap it up with that. Thanks for hopping on. Hopefully we'll have more podcasts in the future now that you got a setup.
Yeah, I've been there's Lots of ideas for future podcasts. I've been forever wanting to do a super fan Survivor podcast where I get my friends on to talk about all the twists and turns that go on. And, I like Will, for instance. Finally, I convinced Will to watch Survivor. So being able to sit down with him and talk and say, okay, you understand now why you have to be watching this. So anyways, I look forward to talking with everybody.
Yeah, I don't even think Will likes Survivor. Like he's given it a few tries, but I mean,
well, Will literally he watched this season, and he said, and this is not my opinion. He said he believed that Cedric should have won season. What is this? 47, 48, 50? It's almost 50. It's good.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you don't know Survivor. You don't know Survivor.
Well,
he needs to get on the podcast. He needs to talk, and he needs to start, taking notes.
Cedric did play a good game, though. All right, that was our Survivor pod. Thank you all for listening, and look out for that Andor 2 review coming soon. Because as much as I love Thunderbolts, you will hear the excitement in my voice. Star Wars is back, baby, and so is Marvel. This is a good movie. All right, later.